Hello everyone, welcome. Today we are going to take up a new chapter. The name of the chapter is The Lost Child, which we had a little bit of discussion in the interactive classes. So today we are going to read the chapter and look what is being said here, what the chapter is about. This is from your book Moments. Okay, so The Lost Child, the name of the chapter is The Lost Child. The Lost Child has been written by Mr. MULK Raj Anand. So Mr. MULK Raj Anand is an Indian writer and he wrote in English. So it is not a very long time before that there were no Indian writers in English, say 80 years, 100 years back, very few, countables, okay. But MULK Raj Anand was one of the first writers. He is not the first writer in English, Indian writer in English, but counted as one of those writers who wrote in English, Indian writers who wrote in English. So two of his famous books are, one is Coolie, okay, the name of the book is Coolie, and the second book is Untouchables. Okay, these two are seminal books. Seminal means these were the books which decided the future course of Indian writing. So he wrote during pre-independence era, his books were published, and he is a very renowned and respected writer, Indian writer in English. So this short story, The Lost Child, is also written by the same author, that is Mr. MULK Raj Anand. So let's go into the chapter. Before that, already I have instructed you to mark the paragraph numbers. Okay, in this book the paragraphs are not numbered, so you have to number the paragraphs, as in paragraph number 1 just on the left hand side. I'll show you an example how it is done. Already you have done it in the interactive classes. So you can see I have written 1 here. Okay, this is the first paragraph. Fine, so 1. So in total there are 26 paragraphs in this short story. So you will number them, that way it will be easier for us to interact. I can easily point out which paragraph I am talking about, and you can easily find it out. For example, say paragraph number 4, it's just one line. Okay, so we have named it as a paragraph. This is paragraph number 4. This is just a line, single line. Okay, it's not part of paragraph 3 or paragraph 4. So anyways, let's start the discussion. So I'll read the chapter, and along with it I'll go for the explanation as and when necessary. So please pay attention and look at your books and pages. So it was the festival of spring. From the wintry shades of narrow lanes and alleys emerged a gaily clad humanity. So please underline gaily clad humanity. Some walked, some rode on horses, others sat, being carried in bamboo and bullock carts. One little boy ran between his father's legs, brimming over with life and laughter. So the first paragraph gives us a lot of descriptions, isn't it, about the scene that is going on, and if you read it closely you can even picturize the scene. So festival of spring, suppose let's call it a mela of some sort during the spring season, and wintry shades of narrow lanes. So the narrow lanes, in Hindi हम उसको बोलते हैं the small छोटा जो गली होता है. So the narrow lanes and alleys emerged a gaily clad humanity. So gaily means happy, clad means somebody who is clothed, and humanity is talking about human beings. So well clothed human beings. Some walked, some rode on horses, others sat. So some were walking, some were riding on horses, others were sitting, and some were being carried in bamboo carts and bullock carts. And among all these things, all these people, all these lanes and this season, there was one little boy who was running between his father's legs. So obviously you can guess the size of the little kid, right? The kid was so small that he could run between his father's legs, and he was laughing with joy and full of life. Why? Because yes, he was going to a mela, he was very happy. So come to the next page. Come, child, come. So this is the dialogue. Come, child, come, called his parents as he lagged behind, fascinated by the toys in the shops that line the way. And the child was going to the mela and he was looking at the shops that were lined, because he is seeing all these things for the first time. He hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their call, his eyes still lingering on the receding toys. So please underline the word lingering. Okay, lingering means, we'll talk about it later, or let me just give you a brief idea. Lingering means when you have the desire to look at something for a bit longer. Okay, you are looking at it and at the same time you are not means you know you have to go, but your eyes are upon that thing. So lingering, the last residual image. He hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their call, his eyes still lingering on the receding toys. Because he's walking, as he's walking, the toys are receding from his view. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he well knew the old cold stare of refusal in their eyes. So the boy knows that he's looking at so many things, and as a child, we also desire things, right? So the boy wants things from his parents, but he at the same time already knows that if he asks his parents for something, they're going to stare down at him coldly, right? And maybe they will refuse him. So coming to paragraph 4, I want that toy, he pleaded. So this is the first thing that the child says. The first dialogue of the child in this short story is he wants that toy. Paragraph 5, his father looked at him red-eyed in his familiar tyrant's way. So as we are discussing in paragraph 3, right, the cold stare of refusal, hope you can underline that also, because that is a phrase which you can use in your answers. Okay, cold stare of refusal, the way our parents stare at us when they want to refuse us something. That is the description given here. So his father, when he asks for the toy, his father looks at him red-eyed in his familiar tyrant's way. His mother, melted by the free spirit of the day, was tender and giving him her finger to hold, said, "Look, child, what is before you?" And mother knows she doesn't want to disappoint the child or make his mood worse, because father has already refused with his stare, right? So what does the mother do? The mother tries to distract the child and tells him, "Look, child, what is before you? Look there, something is there." And what was it? Paragraph 6, it was a flowering mustard field. And it was a mustard field where flowers had sprouted. Okay, so have you seen mustard fields in images? Definitely you have seen them. They are yellowish in color. When the flowers are in bloom, it looks fantastic. Okay, many movies have also been shot keeping a mustard field in the background, in the scene. Pale like melting gold. So this is the description. Pale like melting gold as it swept across miles and miles of even land. So it's a field full of mustard flowers, miles and miles, as long as the eyes can see. So the child's attention has been diverted by the mother. Okay, then we come to paragraph 6. It was a paragraph 7. A group of dragonflies were bustling about on their gaudy purple wings, intercepting the flight of a lone black bee or butterfly in search of sweetness from the flowers. The child followed them in the air with his gaze, till one of them would still its wings and rest, and he would try to catch it. So now his attention from the mustard field is transferred to a group of dragonflies. It's a child we're talking about, right? Easily short attention spans, and they're easily distracted from one topic to the next. So now his gaze is drawn by dragonflies. And what does he do? Like any other child, he also tries to catch them. Whenever the dragonflies sit in some place and it's within his reach, he is going to try to catch it. But it would go fluttering, flapping up into the air when he had almost caught it in his hands. And as he was just about to catch the dragonfly, at that moment, the dragonfly flew away. Okay? Then his mother gave a cautionary call. "Come, child, come on to the footpath." So at the same time, the child is near his parents and doing all these activities, and his parents are walking towards the fair, right? So when this happens, after every say 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the mother has to give out a call to the child, so that the child does not get lost in the dragonflies or the mustard field, right? Because like I told you, short attention span. So the mother keeps on calling. After a period of interval, the mother keeps on calling the child back, and this time the mother is telling the child, "Come, child, come onto the footpath." So now we're moving to paragraph 8. He ran towards his parents gaily and walked abreast of them for a while, being, however, soon left behind, attracted by the little insects and worms along the footpath that were teeming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. So like I already have told you, the child's attention is now drawn by he's on the footpath, and upon the footpath you can see that some small insects and worms were coming out, and this also attracted him, and he was always lagging behind his parents. So that's why his mother had to call him again and again. Paragraph 9. Come, child, come. His parents called from the shade of a grove where they had seated themselves on the edge of a well. So he ran towards them. So now his parents may be waiting for him, or maybe they were tired. They sat down near the shade of a tree, and there was also a well nearby. And they sat on the edge of the well, okay? Paragraph 10. A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove, and forgetting his parents, he began to gather the raining petals in his hands. But lo, he heard the cooing of doves and ran towards his parents, shouting, "The dove, the dove!" The raining petals dropped from his forgotten hands. Paragraph 11. Come, child, come, they called to the child, who had now gone running in wild capers round the banyan tree, and gathering him up, they took the narrow winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard fields. Paragraph 12. As they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs, converging to the whirlpool of the fair, and felt at once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. Okay, so paragraph 10, 11 and 12, three paragraphs describing the journey of the child and his parents from their home or wherever they were coming from to the Mela. So the parents were sitting near the sitting on the edge of the well, right, and calling him. So when the child goes there, he sees that shower of flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove. So there was a grove there, and flowers were there, and the flowers fell on the child, and he immediately forgot his parents, because for him this was a totally new experience. Flowers falling from the air, from the sky. And then he sees a dove, right? When he sees the dove, he is immediately drawn by the dove, okay, because dove looks like a pigeon, but it's called a dove, and it's always white in color, so it's very attractive, especially for somebody who has not seen it before. And then after the dove, because he could not catch the dove, his parents have called him again, "Come, child, come." And what happens, because there was a banyan tree there, so he keeps on running around the banyan tree, okay, wildly. He's running around the banyan tree, and suddenly his parents have caught him in between his running, and then they took the narrow winding footpath. So they were going on the footpath, so this footpath led them to the mustard fields which they had seen from distance. Remember, the mother distracted the child with the mustard field. So now they have to go go to the fair through the mustard field, okay. So the child's attention is again diverted. So you can almost see that every paragraph is diverting the child's attention, okay. So what basically the gist here is that the attention span of the child is very short. Not only this child, but in general, children are easily attracted to so many things around them, because they are always seeing things for the first time till they grow up. And then they go through the mustard field, and they almost reach the village, and then the child's mind was again blown away, because now there were more people, full of throngs. Please underline the word throngs, throngs. Paragraph 12, converging to the whirlpool of the fair. Whirlpool is chaotic, we call water a whirlpool when water is becoming round, okay, circling. So chaotic mesh of water, and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. So as he was nearing the village, the number of people were increasing, and the stalls were increasing, hawkers were increasing, okay. So he was getting totally immersed and fascinated by that. So far this is we have completed till paragraph 12. One more paragraph and we'll end this video, and then the remaining 13 paragraphs we'll be dealing with them in the second part, okay. So paragraph 13, a sweetmeat seller hawked gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi. So sweetmeat seller is somebody who is selling sweets in the fair, and what are the items he has? He has gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi and jalebi. At the corner of the entrance, and a crowd pressed round his counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets. Many colored sweets, decorated with leaves of silver and gold. The child stared open-eyed, and his mouth watered for the barfi that was his favorite sweet. "I want that barfi." So this is the second time the child says that he wants something, and this was a reflex action, okay, reaction. Looking at the barfi, he could not stop himself. Already he had asked for some toys, and without even uttering a word, his parents made him understand that the toy is not possible. Okay, so now he says, I want that Burfi. He slowly murmured, but he half knew as he begged that his plea would not be heeded because his parents would say he was greedy. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. So as you can see, the child is accustomed to this kind of things. He'll ask for something on the spur of the moment, and his parents have this time have not even responded to his desire, his want. So he himself realizes or herself realizes that what? That the Burfi is out of question. Okay. So now we have reached the stage where we have reached the fair. So in the second part, we are going to discuss what happens in the fair. Okay, so please read till this much and listen to the explanation very properly, and mark the words that I have given, as well as mark the important repeated themes that you have encountered so far, like his parents calling him again and again, then the things that the child is getting distracted by. So that is the tone of the story, short story, and we are going to focus on all these things. Okay, so take care and stay safe.